Hello, how are you today? I hope you're well. So, today I'm talking about was our 12 steps to resilience for December is choice. So, if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Lizzy Bernthal. I spent 25 years in the Army as Lieutenant Colonel, leading teams all over the world in very dodgy places such as Afghanistan. And as part of that, my mission is to end workplace toxicity, to help every leader I come across and every organization show up with impact, influence, power, and passion as themselves, so that they own who they are and therefore their teams work effectively, the organization is profitable, the reputation is great, and it all works. So it's such a joy to do this. So today I'm talking about choice. Now, we've all had choices that we've had to make in our life. And the thing is, I want you to think about is we always have a choice. So a choice is when we make a decision, obviously, when we've got a bit of a dilemma, do I do this? Do I do that? However, often we don't realize we have a choice. So my first tip for you today is we always have a choice, even if we feel we have no choice. So what does that mean? Sometimes when we think we haven't a choice, we've actually chosen not to have a choice. So let me use an example for this. When I went off, I remember standing on the tarmac going off to Afghanistan. At the time, my daughter was 10, and I was standing on the tarmac with a sea of guys around me, thinking, am I being a completely irresponsible mother going on this tour, knowing I might not come back? And then I thought, actually, I have to do this. I knew I had to do this. It was what I was born to do, to make a difference. I've got a long history of 8 generations of army, 2 uncles who'd been killed fighting. And so therefore I had a legacy that I had to do my bit, and I wanted to do my bit. And if I didn't go, someone else could die in my place. And that was not an issue for me. So I knew I had to go. But I wasn't at that time that I realized that I had a choice. And in fact, my CEO, even my commanding officer, even gave me a choice. I had an injured knee, but I was going to the main headquarters in Afghanistan. So I wasn't going to be going through undergrowth and all that stuff, although I had to do obviously my pre-deployment training. He said to me, you have an injury, you have an excuse not to go. And to me, that was never a choice, because that would have meant I'd let my team down, I'd let myself down, and I was born to do this. And therefore, what sort of leader would I be if I said, oh yeah, of course I won't bother to go? So at that time, I wasn't aware of all the self-development I have now. And therefore, I had actually made the choice to go, even though I saw it wasn't a choice. So my thought for you today is, what choices have you made that you haven't realized is a choice? I get there'll be lots of choices that you have made that you felt, well, there is no choice here. So I think the biggest thing about choice, the other tip, is trusting your instincts. Your instincts will know what is the right thing to do. For me, it was absolutely, I was going no matter what. There wasn't every cell in my body was telling me, I'm a leader, I will be going and do my bit. And it was a joy and a privilege, and it was a huge honor to be going there. And so that's the other thing, trust your instincts. I think obviously also think of the long-term impact. Now that was a challenge for me, I have to say, but obviously I didn't know about all these various tips that I do now. The long-term impact was potentially I could not come back. My daughter would be orphaned. My husband, how would he cope? I think he would have coped amazingly, actually. But potentially, how would he be coped as a single parent? So sometimes, but then be careful though that you don't start overthinking. Because if we start thinking of the impact of everything we do, we wouldn't do anything. So instinct is the biggest thing. Your intuition always knows the answer. And also remember, you can always reevaluate. You can always think, actually, I'm not sure that's the right choice right now. I think I need to make a different one. So think about so many choices that you make every day. You choose to go to work, or you choose to work at home. You choose to have a career. You choose not to have a career. You choose what you have for supper. We make choices all day. we don't often celebrate ourselves for the choices that we've made. And if we have made the wrong choice, then we have the learning as a result of that. From big choices like maybe that wasn't the right person that I married to or not, or to actually that maybe that wasn't the right career choice. And so everything happens for us, not to us. I totally believe that. The choices we make are right for us at the time. So don't beat ourselves up if we've made the wrong choice. If we had that all the evidence we have at that point, we would probably make the same choice. So just don't beat yourself up if you feel you've made the wrong choice. So my tips for you today in this short little session is, number one, notice the tips you're making. Number two, trust your instinct and your intuition, because your intuition is the greatest sat nav you've ever got with you that always knows the answer. And remember, you can always reevaluate. You can always think, actually, that wasn't the right choice. I need to adjust. And it's like a boat going down. If you watch a boat or a surfer or anyone on the water, they're constantly, and they're constantly re-navigating. A plane is never going in a straight line. It's always adjusting, always, any more than a boat's always adjusting according to the waves. We can always do that adjustment. So don't feel that that's it, that's my choice, that's what I'm committed to. But obviously it's important to commit to something. So that's my tip for the day. Notice the choices you're making and celebrate yourself for making the choices, especially if you're noticing things, you've made a choice that you didn't even realize was a choice. So always worth having a conversation. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Below is my resilience diagnostic to help you and your teams in your organization to be more resilient, to show up with impact. And let's have a conversation for how we can take this forward. So look after yourselves. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.